the Director of Community Relations for the Department of Homeless Services. I am joined by my colleague Lisa Black, who is Director of Intergovernmental Relations, and George Nashak, who is the Deputy Commissioner for Adult Services. The mission of the Department of Homeless Services is to prevent homelessness whenever possible and provide short-term emergency shelter and rehousing support whenever needed. These goals are best achieved through partnerships with those we serve, the public like yourself, agencies, and the business and nonprofit communities. The Department of Homeless Services continues to focus on an array of innovative strategies to achieve our goal of returning individuals and families to self-sufficiency. DHS and its other public agencies, along with not-for-profit and private sector partners, work to prevent homelessness whenever possible, before it occurs, to reduce street homelessness and to move homeless individuals and families out of the shelter and into permanent housing. The agency is headed by Commissioner Seth Diamond, who was newly appointed earlier this year, and he's already bringing reforms to the agency. Two of the major changes to take effect since Commissioner Diamond took office are changes to the Advantage program, which will build on the success of the Work Advantage program, and the new savings contribution requirement. Advantage is a rent subsidy program that the agency has for individuals that are in shelter for 60 days. They're required to work to receive the subsidy, and they must pay 30% of their gross monthly income towards rent in the first year, 40% in the second year. The savings contribution requirement occurred after years of disregarding a state mandate that would require homeless clients in homeless shelters to contribute portions of their income towards the cost of their shelter stay. DHS worked diligently with state elected officials to amend the law, and now people who work that are in shelter are required to contribute to a savings plan, which they then receive back when they leave shelter and enter back into the community into stable housing. So just to go over a broad overview of DHS policies and the agency as a whole and what we do as an agency. We are a large agency. We are an agency to increase the number of people, to help the number of people not enter the shelter system, prevent them from entering homelessness to begin with, reduce street homelessness, ensure that the availability of temporary emergency shelter for homeless individuals and families is available, which is mandated by law, reduce clients' length of stay in shelters, and maintains shelter safety and sanitation. To meet these objectives, DHS is organized into 9 divisions. I'll just talk about 3 of those divisions tonight, which is Adult Services, Family Services, and Prevention Policy and Planning. Adult Services Division provides services for homeless adult families and families with no minor children, and single adults, including the Street Outreach Unit, Safe Havens Unit, and the drop-in centers that are around the city for the hardest to serve general and specialized traditional facilities and assistance with securing permanent supportive housing. Our Intake and Placement Unit is responsible for intake of homeless single adults, both men and women who are over 18 years old, and for homeless adult families. The unit is also responsible for assessment and placement of clients into appropriate shelter. There is one central intake facility for adult families, the Adult Family Intake Center, also called AFIC in Manhattan. And AFIC serves couples and adult families without minor children. Additionally, there is one central intake facility for men located in Manhattan and 2 points for intake for women, one in the Bronx and one in Brooklyn. The Family Services Division serves homeless families through a network of transitional housing facilities that provide families with stable living situations and supportive social services designated to lead to self-sufficiency. Family Services is comprised of 7 units, and our Intake and Placement Unit is responsible for intake of families that are homeless, and it is located in the Bronx. It is called PATH, the Prevention Assistance and Temporary Housing Office. Finally, in order to meet our legally mandated responsibility to provide shelter to any person in need, DHS must expand and contract accordingly, much like an accordion. DHS maintains an open RFP process, which is a request for proposal, allowing nonprofit partners to submit plans for shelters at any time for review by the agency. Upon submission, DHS requires respondents to notify a community board of the community district where the facility is located about their proposal. And DHS works closely with communities, as we're doing tonight, as shelters are part of neighborhoods, and we are always available to work with yourself and community boards like CB1 in Brooklyn, and we're doing it around New York City. We look for input from yourself so that we can make our agency better and certainly offer better services to our clients. Finally, prevention policy and planning is the cornerstone of reform at DHS. Through our home-based offices across the city, we have 13 home-based offices, and I'll be leaving pamphlets for CB1 to have available for their constituents. We offer an array of services such as legal services, mediation, eviction services for people that are almost in need of emergency shelter, but we try to help them so they don't make it to shelter. We've assisted about 20,000 people in this way, and out of all the people that applied, we've helped about 90% of those people not enter the shelter system, and we're keeping them in their homes and in their community, and that is what we're trying to accomplish also in the future. Let me just see if I have anything else here. So we're proud of what we're doing, and we're trying to help people that are in greatest need. We're legally mandated to have enough rooms for everyone every single night, and as I said, that's why we expand and contract as needed. If you have any questions on the policies of DHS and how we operate, I know I went through a lot. I will certainly take any questions.
Just one minute.